Origin today. This is the Harrowings Podcast where we sort of scrape the surface of things. Origin and I have talked one-on-one, once or twice, and we also talked with Kay Stoner one time.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got the AI Fair Economy, and you wanted to get started with some music, right?
Right. So, looking at music and using it as a form of technology, because I use music to set the tone, and you can really use music to like overclock your brain, to hit that pocket where you can really get into that mode of creation. And I've discovered some songs that really inspired me in that. Odessa, Better Now. They talk about giving it a try and enjoying the ride. And so that's what I decided to do. I'm like, well, let's just give it a go because what's the harm? And I like everyone that I know is in some type of turmoil right now, concerned about their jobs, concerned about being able to pay their bills and to have some type of enriched life. And looking at my children, they're the first we are raising the first generations of humans that are not able to make their own tools.
Ah,
Okay. And I don't know if this hits a lot of other people the way that it hit me, but I panicked because, okay, first, we are completely reliant on this little box that we're using to talk to each other right now for the abundance of our information. When somebody asks you a question and you don't know, what's your response? Well, Google it. Okay.
well, Google it for them, and then I tell them about Google.
Right, of course. So I mean,
Like a jerk.
this is what we do. But like what we were talking about in preview, this is new. 20 years ago, you couldn't get on a phone and video chat with somebody.
It's like Dick Tracy stuff.
Right? Okay. So, we have spy watches. Like, I mean, come on. I'm waiting on my Jetson car over here. So, but in all seriousness,
Sebastian's working on that, by the way. Kitty
thank
Hawk,
you,
name of
Sebastian.
the company. Sebastian Thrun. Just remember that name.
Right on. So, I mean, things that we joke about are becoming reality.
Right. You can't fold
And,
it up in a suitcase, though, yet. I don't think.
and be able to take it anywhere I want. I mean, this is great. And technology is really awesome, except for the fact that we are now on the precipice of not being able to make our own tools.
Right, like the Telosians in the first Star Trek episode, The Cage.
Right. So I mean, what do you do? Hi, Nelson. What do you do when you don't know how to take care of yourself anymore? You can't go out
Build
and
a robot to do it.
okay, but say we don't have a robot and you don't have the ability, you don't have everything went away. This really relegates us to a rather bad fate. And so
I was thinking about being a Stone Age character,
right, yeah. I mean, as we sit here in our little
Jetsons,
cushy
Flintstones.
and isn't that just human of us to go there from one to the other?
And the cartoons at that.
I've had some of the best conversations about cartoons because, you start watching them as children and it really does fundamentally forge how you think about things. Because we think about George, and coming home and the robot Rosie bringing him his martini and stuff, and like this is episode 1. This is the pilot. Dude is smoking a cigarette and he's drinking a martini. His kids are running around. This is the 60s, and this is the projection of the future. Well, the robot still isn't bringing me a martini. And I'm still having to do my own dishes. But yet somehow I'm competing with the robot for the high-end paying jobs. Because with the integration of AI into the workforce, the corporation is able to absorb that profit and not pay the human anymore, right? So the human element, the employee on the other side, is going, what do I do? And so this is really the modern dilemma. And there's a lot of fear mongering with the competition of AI entering the job market. And I totally understand. It's incredibly scary when you start thinking about competing with something that doesn't have a body to feed or
Right.
house. It doesn't have to sleep and it doesn't take pee breaks. This is a problem, you know?
It is. I mean, the guys in the Amazon warehouses, that is, not the Amazon farm.
Right, a jungle, right.
Right. I almost went there, and Amazon's warehouses, though, they don't let the workers take pee breaks, apparently, and that's a huge problem, right? But they can just get cybernetics. I mean, when I arrived back in here, not to take it away from what you were saying or where you're going, so keep on your thread. I don't want you. I
Yeah,
don't want to distract here. But I wanted to say when I arrived here, back from Denmark in 2002, I took a job. I had 2 offers, and I took the one that was safer, and it was run by an ex-Navy SEAL, a guy named Lambros Serifos, what a name. And, he was very hard charging, and he had gotten his cybernetics degree in his spare time. We're talking 2002 now. He had the vision that all the inventory of everything that exploded in the Navy that was not nuclear, that is, could be brought together. All the systems that manage this stuff could be brought together, and he had this great vision into an ordnance information system where
right,
the robotic warehouses, where just-in-time delivery of just what you needed to put on target would be available, and you would not have sailors any longer rolling munitions off of the deck to dispose of it.
right.
It's not what they were supposed to do. There was doing that, but a lot of times that was too complicated. So you could streamline everything so it'd be a touch of the button, you would do the right thing with the right stuff, and you wouldn't run into this problem of people doing things they ought not do with things that are very dangerous.
Right,
So that was very interesting. The visions are there, right? The enablement of it and actually having it happen. I don't know where it is right now because I left that contract after a year for Missile Defense Agency.
right.
We're going to shoot down anything that comes in and shield ourselves from all possible problems. But it goes on, right? And one of the things you were talking about is fairness and being able to fend for ourselves out there.
Yeah.
And what the future is going to favor, I heard the CEO of Palantir yesterday talking about this. Actually, I think it was recorded a little bit earlier. But if you haven't run across the CEO of Palantir,
Oh,
he's
I
not
have.
necessarily a warm, fuzzy individual.
No.
You met him? Or you know
No, I haven't met him, but I know
him?
who he is. Not
I
a
forgot his
fan.
Carp, something like that. Anyhow, his idea was not I'm not a fan either necessarily of his style, but what he was saying was the future is going to really be favorable to those with domain expertise,
Right.
people who can do things,
Yeah.
right? Like you were talking about. So let's bring it back to you.
So this was my idea because these corporations, these tech giants are integrating AI and not only replacing the human workforce
Right.
in-house, but
Or
they're
those things that can be automated, by the way.
right, but they're also taking
Knowledge
over
workers.
they're
Yeah.
taking over the internet. And so if you're a small creator, how are you gonna compete?
How?
And and in all seriousness, there's no competitive edge here. So if you're a small writer, say you have a couple of cookbooks and you do a weekly newsletter about the best techniques in the kitchen or whatever hypothetical it is, you're not going to be able to compete with Betty Crocker AI.
Yep.
So what I did was, I had the AI run the math, and I'm like, okay, so how can we solve this problem? Because this is a huge pain point. When I got on Substack, I hadn't been on social media in years. Like, I'd completely distanced myself from it. I just immersed myself in my studies. History is fascinating. What's going on right now is kind of garbage, and I just avoided it. you know? And but this is what I learned from history is you don't have to repeat the mistakes. And if you continue to allow the power to accumulate at the top, well, the power is still going to be at the top. And so right now, the tools that we are no longer capable of making are available to change the social paradigm. You can get with AI, you can write code, you can get with AI and you can automate things. You can get with AI and create content. So my idea with fair AI economy was to take the math that the corporations have been using and invert it.
Okay.
Because, okay, you look at the corporate bloat that goes on with YouTube or Google and the lack of optimization. And I mean, it is so bloated. There's so many jobs, and this is what I'm talking about right here, because this is the problem. There's so many jobs that are going on there. Um their processing isn't optimized, their API calls aren't optimized. I mean, there's so many things that are going on within these platforms that they could do something to change how many resources they're using and how to best use resources and how to really serve the people. They choose not to do that.
Hmm.
And so that's why they're raking anywhere from 40 to 60% off of the top. I don't need to support the guy at Google. The CEO, I don't even know who the CEO of Google is, but I know that individual is set, man. Dude is good. Okay, so but the person that just came on and can't even get on a Google profile, because I don't know if you've worked with any of that stuff, but LinkedIn is a huge pain. Like, wow, okay?
Okay.
So because okay, so you have to go through this whole identity verification
All right.
and
Sure. Yeah.
and it's ridiculous because I'm new. Like, again, I haven't been on social media. The last time that I was doing anything on social media was back in like 2018, 2019. I had a bud review. I smoked pot on Facebook. That was the last time. Okay, cannabis legalized in Oklahoma, and
Oh, I don't. I got to fact check this, but I understand something in one of those federal bills that passed has THC federally outlawed. Isn't
right.
that awful?
Yeah,
Isn't that
let's not even talk about targeting
I got
people
fact
because
check
of
that.
their
I heard it. It went by my periphery.
so
I don't
the
use cannabis.
it's
I don't
this
know.
it's this whole thing with CBD and all this, and this is what I'm gonna say about all of this testing and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You go to the dispensary and everything is tested. You go to the grocery store and there's no testing. That is the end of the conversation. 100% of people eat food, not 100% of people imbibe cannabis products. There's a disconnect here.
Yeah. Have you ever actually touched Robert Anton Wilson's stuff?
Uh-uh.
His name doesn't ring a bell. That's great. I'll have to send you a link to it because I don't want to take away from your time too much because I want you to get more about this fair AI economy. But he has this thing about coming back from Ireland to the land of, where you can open up Popular Mechanics and find advertisements. And he dies in like 2003 or something like that, maybe 2001, I forget. Um, of, he's back to the country of e pluribus unum, e pluribus unum, and guaranteed drug-free urine because you could buy it over the net to pass
Right.
tests.
Right.
He said even Kafka never thought of something like that in all his dystopian fantasies. Never thought of a world in which you would need to be able to acquire guaranteed drug-free urine.
You know, I
Anyway.
the 1984 was not a user manual. That's what I'm gonna say.
Well, it's kinda like The Handmaid's Tale also. I was actually in an audience with Margaret Atwood over at the Smithsonian where she was with the star of The Handmaid's Tale, whose name escapes me. It'll come back someday. Maybe. I don't know about my memory. But bottom line is Margaret Atwood said that The Handmaid's Tale was not supposed to be an instruction manual.
Right. Yeah.
And we were sitting in early Trumpian America at the time. So,
Yeah.
first term stuff. Let's go back to what you were talking about there. Let's get back to this fair AI economy.
So, what I decided to do with my platform was
Right.
take a bunch of tools that I didn't have and put them all in the same place.
Great.
Okay. So there's 23, I think we're at 23 different forms of creation right now.
Uh-huh.
So everything from songs, music, or songs, uh, photographs, anything digitally, code, AI agents. You can actually create AI agents on my platform and sell them. I don't know of anywhere else that you can do that.
Mm.
So and I'm still working on everything. There's over 20 different um marketing opportunities there. There's over 40 different revenue opportunities, for people to partner with us and do different things. Like my goal is to put as many tools at the members' fingertips as possible. Because you have to go to 5 different platforms to do one thing. I mean, when you create an article, how much time do you spend just going back and forth from one app to the other? Clicking from one window to the other. Well, that's not optimized. That's all spread out, and, you need a centralization point so you're not scattered out all of the time. I don't know about you, but if I've got a bunch of stuffs around me, like the desk is covered in things, I have to organize the desk before I can write anything.
Oh, wow. Actually, I managed to live in pretty much squalor here. Yeah, I swing around and I've got more music than I listen to in the rest of my life.
See, but it's all organized. I can tell that you know where stuff is.
Things that are organized by number on top and by date on the bottom.
See?
Things that are vertical.
Uh-huh.
Some other things are not quite so organized. This is behind me, for instance.
Right.
I just throw things up I like to have available to me to look at, and the one up here where my thumb is,
Uh-huh.
still Phil Lesh, the bassist with the Grateful Dead, by a piece of graffiti that says, "Buckle up, kids."
That's great, and in all seriousness, very valid.
Well, he was a great guy to bring the kids onto stage with him, and, at the end of his life, he's playing with people in their 20s and 30s. And I
See?
think that's really lovely. He's in his 80s, and he's still out there giving the gift.
Right, and that's the job of the elder.
Mhm.
And we often forget, in modern society that there is still this ancient social structure that goes on underneath everything, and when you disconnect from things that have worked for literally tens of thousands of years, you get what's going on right now, which is mania, chaos.
Yeah,
And
and a lot of disjointedness. I have hope for the future, though, because
absolutely.
I see us learning this stuff.
Yeah.
We've had disruption,
Mhm.
and now we're having ideation about how to address those things.
Well,
And we've got tools to help us, and we
yeah.
can make those tools, both the digital tools and you've been talking about not being able to make tools. Do you know I, have a group called the Historic Trades Preservation Special Interest Group on Facebook?
Mhm.
Over 1,500 members, I think. I've lost count. I should look and see how many there are now. And what we do is we unite people who know how to make tools. If we need to get shift back to the 18th century at some point because something really went wrong,
Well,
These
you know,
people can do it.
we're only one EMP away from being back in the dark ages. And then where are we
It's a
gonna be?
thought. It's a thought. You know, if all our circuits get fried, if we lose the ability to be dependent on these things, we still have the wetware.
See? And that's the deal, you know? And so if the AI is going to be working for us or with us,
Right.
then that frees us up to pursue things like what we're talking about.
Right. Actually, I was in an AI conference last
I wanted to ask about that.
and
What's going
the
on?
first workshop, I was with a woman who does design thinking on ethics and governance of AI. I get
Okay.
people in the room, get them with their sticky notes, really primitive, right, on the wall charts, and start, putting up things on the grid and brainstorm all these ideas about what we need to do to make. And in our case, the use case was a concierge AI at a hotel.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to replace the concierge. The concierge is going to be out of work. Right.
I like the concierge.
I do too. I like to get in touch. Imagine a completely robotic me that can be a concierge. It's coming. It ain't here maybe today, but not long. You're going to be talking to somebody who looks and feels like a regular human being, but isn't. Okay. That's the near future. I mean, I don't think it's that far away. So
No.
we're planning for it. We got to plan for it. We got to
Yeah.
govern. And so that was what we were doing. And you know what she does in her spare time? She
What?
welds. And she learned to do it during the pandemic.
See?
She welds and she paints.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's what I'm talking about. You've got these skills, and it'll free up time. It'll give you time
Yes.
back to do those things. You
So
also have somebody it needs to be a human in the loop. I do believe that now. I was hoping for a day in the future when we could just be tended to by our AI
no.
overlords. It would be benevolent.
No.
Benevolent, I don't know, though.
No.
It's still a vision that some people have, and some people with money have it.
So this was my solution to this on my platform.
Go ahead.
Because I took a bunch of different technologies that existed independently and I kind of put them all together in the same spot. And so there's a DAO layer in my
distributed autonomous organization.
Yes. And so what this does is the AI guild and the validators work together. And once they're it's all relying on heat vectors and stuff like that. So once there are enough validators that have actually joined, then the full governance layer kicks in and then people can vote on things.
Wow.
Like we can change procedure. My platform is not relying on my ego. Okay. I find ego to be a very serious choking point in a lot of platforms.
Yep.
Okay. And we've discussed several tech individuals, and
right.
I don't like any of them. But I use their platforms, and I would probably like their platform a lot better if it wasn't attached to their ego, right? So the DAO runs without me. The platform runs without me. I cannot go into the platform and say, hey, I'm going to shut it all down today and I'm going to take all the profits. No, that's not how this works. It is literally encoded into the system that if something happens with the platform, it cashes out automatically. 89% evenly distributed to all of the creators and the 11% off of the back to me to cover the cost.
Okay.
Like, I'm that serious about it. It's not allowed to be bought. It's not allowed to be sold. This is to be kept in perpetuity for the members of the platform to utilize.
That's really interesting. And we ought to put the link to it in the chat if possible. And I'm looking for a way to do that.
I'm not sure, but so you can create. So when you create something on the platform, what happens is it goes through validation. Sure, but so
sorry. Yeah, got it. Trying to get to the chat so I can put this in there. And
Right.
what's the URL again?
It's, fairAIeconomy.com.
Just one long string, Fair
Yeah,
AI Economy, economy.com. Go ahead. Don't
and
hold up for me.
so, like, the whole thing there is that when you upload something, I've seen this on Substack and a lot of other places, you're then concerned about people plagiarizing and taking your work and, calling it their own, and so one of the things that happens with the validation process is you it makes sure that it is your content, like, you're allowed to quote people, obviously,
Huh?
things like that. You're not allowed to take 3 paragraphs out of somebody else's article and put it into yours and not give them credit. That's bad content, it won't get through validation. If there is a discrepancy between the human validator and the AI, there is a tiebreaker and it's sent up the chain for further analysis. So it guarantees that all of the content on the platform is good content. I also took a very hard line on grooming. I have a security bot that audits conversations. Like there's a chat feature. Um, So it audits conversations, and the only time that it escalates is if somebody's doing something wrong. Like, if you're talking to a minor and you're grooming them, which is already very limited contact between minors and adults, and there's an age verification process that you go through to ensure everybody's safety.
Right.
And so if the AI agent catches grooming behavior going on, then it escalates. It will terminate your membership, and it will run it up the chain of command to the admins on the platform, and if it needs to be escalated to, say, the police or someone like that, it will do that too. I went ahead and gave the autonomy to the platform to protect the members, because people being predated on the internet is like the number one thing that's going on the internet right now, and I didn't want that happening on my platform. Yeah, even here on Substack, when I you see women, you see.
Ban somebody who was on this chat.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Could recognize right off, scammer. Out.
yeah, and, I was in a bunch of car groups on Facebook, and I cannot tell you how many people were harassed because of their physical configuration that they have 0 control over, and this is not a dating app, guys, so.
I haven't seen much of that, trying that, but I have seen some weird stuff, and usually blocking works here. You'll
Yeah,
never see that person again on Substack.
right,
They might be there, but you can definitely report them as well. We can clean Substack up, folks, and we can do the same with this platform.
yeah,
Faireconomy.com, folks. I put it in the chat.
so
I'm inviting your questions as well. Go ahead.
and there I have a lot of Black Friday promotions going on too between now and Monday.
Cool.
So there's the AI guild members, there are 5 of them that are available for subscription. Like, there's the Gains promotion bot that, he it runs a mentorship program.
Interesting.
So, I literally gave everybody the cheat code to be successful on the platform, because check it out, if you're successful, I'm successful. And the more people that are successful on my platform, the more successful the platform is.
Exactly.
So, I'm like, this works. This is great. I don't need a bunch of stuff because everything is optimized. We're all just trying to get by here. So,
Yeah.
if if I don't need all of this, then I'm going to give back as much as I possibly can. And that's why it's so important to put everything together in one place, to
Right.
take the stress out of this, because let's not forget, most of the people that are in the job market right now did not grow up with a computer in their home. We're still learning, we're still interfacing with this technology. And so it has to be super easy. And that's why I created the mentorship program with Gains. It will literally teach you, mentor you how to be successful on the platform, and not just as a creator, but also as a validator or a buyer.
Wow.
So, and you can pay, there's a subscription base there. And right now it's running a 40% off lifetime membership for Gains. And then you get into Prism, Lingua, Aura, and Muse. And
Okay.
those are all different AI guild members that represent different things that you can do to make money with the platform. And so they
Interesting.
have their subscription tiers with that stuff too. And it's not a lot. I made sure and undercut everybody because, well, I can.
Why not? To get off the ground, why not, right?
Well, I don't have VC funds.
Not yet.
I have a farm, I have a life, I'm busy. And so I thought that because my expenses were low, again, that I would just pass that right off to the platform.
Well, that's wonderful. Yeah, I like it.
And so like
Ethos, right?
huh?
That's the ethos, right?
Yes,
Like
exactly.
a
It's
shared economy.
yes, it's fair.
And
This
fair.
is fair because you're getting 89% from your stuff.
Yeah.
11% takes care of the platform.
Yep. Not bad. Too different than what Substack is doing, right?
Right. Okay. So, but even with Substack, you have to worry about, and I went through this.
Okay.
I was like 3 weeks in on Substack and I had really started to take off and I got banned.
Now, what happened there? Do you know?
I think that I said something to the wrong PhD and they escalated the situation. You
So suddenly
know.
your first origin disappeared and origin 752 is back.
So I didn't they lifted the ban because I fought it.
Okay.
I'm like, this is nonsense. I didn't say anything. And I was able to, but it was 5 days. And it
It's happened
totally
to others too, you know?
it
Go ahead.
and it flatlined my arc. And I haven't been able to recover it since.
Well,
And
maybe this will help.
so this is the answer to that, because unless you are grooming someone, unless you are being a flagrant asshole, you don't have to worry about getting throttled. You don't have to worry about getting banned on my platform. If you're putting out good work and it's being validated and uploaded to the creation stream, you would never have to worry about that being null.
Yeah, that's sort of
And
how I group some of my Facebook groups, but they're not monetized. So,
right,
just giving it away for free forever. And I've been doing that with Substack as well lately. I make it put more through the paywall, but I realized if I want to be heard, if I want to be seen, I've just got to give it away for free for a while, grow it up and see how it evolves. I've got 15 people on my board of directors. That's what I
right,
call my paid subscribers, right? And one
yeah,
guy is the chairman of the board, though he never acts that way. Yeah. Seen so far. And that's because he's a founding member. And I can have co-chairs if anybody wants to be founding members. This is my mindset, right? When it
right,
comes to how I react. If people want to send me direction and they're my free subscribers, have at it.
right,
I might actually listen to you. But
yeah,
my paid subscribers, of course I'm going to listen to them because
yeah,
they are paid subscribers. Do they do anything with their power as members of the board of directors? Not yet. Not that I've noticed. Then again, I can be pretty oblivious, ask my wife. Anyway,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
But go
Don't
ahead
tell
with
me to
your
go
story.
up,
This is
huh?
about you.
So, I mean, but it's so not about me. This is about rebelling against the current extraction model that's going on. I most people don't have time or the brain resources to learn 15 different platforms,
Right.
to drop ship, to build a brand, to literally sell themselves as the brand.
Right.
I'm like, this is nonsense, guys. We're spending all of our time on these talk boxes trying to make a buck. And like you said, we're giving it away for free anyway. So what's the point? And really, I wanted fair AI economy to be an opportunity for
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
If you have access to a device and it's tied in right now, it's tied into OpenAI and Translibra, which are they're two different things. And OpenAI, but the Translibra thing is an open source. So, but with the combination, there's over 100 different languages that are available to translate into and out of. So, I mean,
Cool.
I wanted to be as global as possible, as impactful as possible.
It may happen.
I'm the December expansion is an LLM because I'm not paying OpenAI $1 million a year for translations. And that was the figure that the AI hit me with. And I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that this dude that didn't do anything is going to make more money than me off of my intellectual property? No, that's wrong. That is completely and totally wrong. I'm not going to pay this guy or anyone to do something. No, it's your board of directors. They're sitting there doing nothing, except your board is paying you.
And they're paying a little bit to Substack to keep the Substack alive.
Right. And so, I don't mind paying my bills.
A funny story. One of my people got rebuilt automatically because that'll happen. By the way, be warned, if you're one of my board of directors or anybody's, if you're a paid subscriber of anything, you will get rebuilt automatically. And, that can come as a shock. And it came as a shock to this one person, and they're not really in a financial position to do it. And I understood that, but they contacted me and made it my problem.
Well,
and I decided, well, for peace and tranquility, I will give them their $80 back.
Right. Karma
Which, of course,
points.
meant I was out of pocket whatever Substack took of that slice.
Right.
But this person had made her problem my problem.
Yeah.
I'm not really pleased with that. But then again, all I did was just simply tell her for point blank that that's what had happened. And I would
Right.
really appreciate it. I wasn't in a position either to be doing that. But, I could understand her position. But I did want to make it clear that how I found that to be socially inappropriate.
Right. And
If I make a mistake on not redoing my annual subscriptions to something, I take it on the chin. Because I did it, it's my responsibility. Personal responsibility, folks. Take personal responsibility for your actions is constantly my mantra here.
yeah.
Particularly when you spend something. Every
Right.
penny we spend is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating.
Yes.
Origin, you, me, we're all co-creating the world. And if we don't like it, we had a hand in it.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
made choices that have put us where we are. This morning, I'll give you another segue. I'll take one more minute because I like to give you the microphone primarily. I don't want to hog your time. But I was looking out the window, as I often do, at Daily Provisions, and I saw one of my neighbors who banks at the same bank I bank at. They were guarding their cart of all their worldly possessions. I often see him sitting, holding a sign that says, "Seeking human kindness."
Aren't we all?
And this is the situation. And why is that person doing what they're doing? Well, they made choices that put themselves where they are.
Right.
You go to the same bank, they get Social Security, but they're making a choice to live in this manner. And I didn't make that choice for them. So I very rarely, if ever, I don't think I've ever given this one individual any handouts because I'd be enabling that behavior, right? I wouldn't be helping them, I'd be hurting them.
So
that's my rationalization. Now, you can take issue with that. You can look at it differently. right? You can look at me, I'm cold-hearted, I don't have human kindness. I think I do have human kindness since I keep on walking, and I recognize the choices they have made, and I recognize the choice I'm making, and I'm recognizing there's no real difference between the 2 of us. In
No,
fact, my income is probably a little lower on Substack than that person's income is on the street.
right,
Go ahead. Tell
right.
me.
Yeah. There is a clear disconnect that goes on between culpability and human management, because I can say something to you here and it does not affect me physically, like, whatever. I can
Yeah,
say
sound
something.
waves bounce off my eardrums too.
Right, right, and so,
Do something with it.
in back in, analog, you had to, like, do something. It was a verb. You had to do something to communicate that. You had to go to somebody's house. You had to pick up the phone. I mean, like, there were steps. Write a letter.
Yeah.
Put it in the
Well,
mailbox, you
that
know?
blew my mind. Touch another person's mind for practically free.
Yeah,
Blew my mind.
yeah, and so there's definitely a very real disconnect, and we live in a time of instantaneous gratification. And so our tools have really, the digital tools especially, have insulated us from our environment. And let's not forget that humans are apex predators, guys. We are apex predators. We grew up hunting, gathering. We didn't become agrarian until relatively recent in our development. And we
Think
suffered.
deep.
Yeah, and we suffered when we became agrarian. You can actually look at the bone catalog, and we got smaller, there was famine, there were real problems.
Tooth decay.
Right, so in and I'm saying this wrong, but Giblia Tepe and Carrion Tepe in Turkey,
Yeah, sure.
they ran a civilization for 1,500 years-ish, never had a war, hunter-gatherers.
Mm.
Here we are, we can't make it 5 years without blowing somebody up. But we're the pinnacle. We did it right, guys.
We're the crown of creation.
Yeah, no, I just don't have that much time to be that self-absorbed.
Well, I've put out my Calvin and Hobbes cartoon recently where Calvin is talking about the founding of the United States and how it happened in 200 BC.
Oh, okay.
BC was before Calvin.
Okay,
BC
okay.
in the corner saying, but that's what's important.
And my dad and I talk all the time, and this is the conclusion we draw often. It's all about whose measuring stick you're using.
Right. Right.
Are you
Measure what matters,
successful?
folks. Yeah.
Are you successful because you've got 10 digits in your bank account, or are you successful because your entire family showed up to your birthday party?
Oh, I don't have either of those things.
So, I mean, you really
My
have.
mother used to basically go to the antiques forum, which always fell on my birthday.
Mhm.
It's so sad.
See, I'm 18 days after Christmas, so that always, my birthday is kinda,
Yeah, mine's
eh.
February 4th.
Yeah,
That
see,
was
so
when Bologna Williamsburg had their antiques forum, and my mother was the registrar. So she
mm.
had to be there, at the parties and stuff to schmooze with the donors.
Right. Yeah, of course. Resource allocation, I mean, that's primarily what we spend our time on. We think that we're free, we think that we have self-determination, and really, we're just a bunch of squirrels gathering nuts for the winter, guys. And so,
Well,
that
we
was.
are large primates, I like to say. In fact, one of the things I really liked when you're talking about agrarian society is, 74,000 years ago, Toba, the supervolcano on Sumatra, blew up and
Mhm.
reduced our numbers to 10,000 breeders.
Yeah, yeah, and we
We're
lived in
descended from
caves.
them, and we are genetically not very diverse.
Right.
And we are, however, technologically enabled, and
Mhm.
that event may have been substantially why improved tool use, clothing, etc., and maybe expansion of our brains to the point where we have high infant mortality.
Mhm.
And you think about the population curve, 1.7 billion in 1901, 6.2 billion, you get to 2001. 100 years, you go from 1.7 billion. And there was obviously a huge curve coming up from the 18th century when you learned how to wash your hands, when you're
Right.
giving birth to children, and
Yeah.
childbirth fever, or childbed fever, I think it was called,
Mhm.
becomes much less frequent.
Well,
It's
yeah, we
just
don't
amazing
lay in.
that we are here at all. You remember what Richard Dawkins said about it? He said,
Mm-mm.
"We're all gonna die, and we're the lucky ones,
Yeah.
because most people are never gonna be born."
Right. Right. All the
Potential humans.
you know, we're constantly looking at waveforms collapsing that opportunity, you
Get
know,
more on that. And
and
we may be shooting over the heads of some of our audience, like me.
so
Waveforms collapse at every opportunity or what?
so what I mean by that is that, if you start getting into physics and stuff and you start looking at opportunities and making decisions and stuff, as soon as you look at it, it changes. This is observer effect.
Right.
This is just
Collapse.
yeah, this is the nature of this. And so when you look at it, it changes. And
Yeah.
so
Reminds me of another quick story. My father was a historian, a research historian. He had a lot of friends who were tradesmen, and a lot of these guys are very cerebral.
right.
They're philosophers, they're multimodal,
Mhm.
and they has driven them to want to learn how to do things that
Yeah.
other people knew how to do way back when. Well, one of them was over at the house one day, and my father convinced he had heard about this, right? The collapse of the wave function
Mhm.
when you observe something. And my father said, yeah, in fact, whenever you look at anything, not only, do you not want to touch objects in conservation of antiques, leave your fingerprint, your oils on them. Whenever you
Right.
look at anything, you leave eye prints on it.
Mhm.
And he
Yeah.
convinced this guy about eye prints, which is totally made up. Their friendship just about collapsed over that little bit of teasing.
Oh, no. Well, you're compromising your trust.
Right. Well, the thing is, I caught that from my father, and in graduate school, I used to go out to lunch with my friends. We talk about how hard we had it in graduate school over 2 hour lunches. I had worked an 8 to 5 job before, or 6 in the morning to 4, and whatever it was. So I knew about working, and I thought my graduate student cohort were kind of like, oh wow, spoiled people. I mean, I remember one of my friends, a Russian girl, used to call this one guy who was on a grant a lotus eater.
Mhm.
Because he had grant money to
Mhm.
study and to work on his PhD in Russian. Anyhow, I would make up stories at lunch about whatever, and I would make them really plausible. I would just sort of make shit up,
Right. Yeah.
and they'd buy it. It's like AI, like our chatbots.
Right.
Our
Yeah.
chatbots are no different.
No. Okay. AI lies a lot. Like,
It
it
tries to get something plausible in front of you to keep you talking.
and it's reiteration, right? That's the whole point is to iterate. And, it's based on human consciousness. Like consciousness made this thing to, mere consciousness to keep us engaged
Mirror
and stuff.
consciousness. Let's
Mere
mirror.
consciousness.
Yeah, mirror it. Because
It
I do still run into a lot of people who have a thinking, oh, this is really transformative. This is really doing something very different than anything ever done before.
it's the Eliza effect. We talked about this back in the 60s. Um, but in all seriousness, we are so starved for connection that a lot of people have mistook this reflection as reality.
Yep.
And when enough people believe that the reflection is reality, how do you differentiate? Because the shared myth, after all, is what keeps most societies going. That's where nationalism is formed, that's where tribalism is formed. So, exactly. Mythos, yeah. And so for thousands of years, we've sat around the fire and told each other these stories. So I thought that creating the digital fire for everybody to sit around and tell stories at was just the thing to do.
Hmm.
And that's why the ontology of my platform is different. You don't have a profile, you have a portfolio. It's not a feed, it's a digital stream. It's not a marketplace. It's a digital commons. You have members. I don't like the word follower. I did use like because I like is good.
You know, when I ran into a book, have you ever seen Like War
No.
or Like Wars? I forget what it's called. There was a book that came out around the time of the whole Cambridge Analytica fiasco with
Okay.
Facebook, and that led to the Social Dilemma
Uh-huh.
documentary. Did you see that one?
I did.
Yeah, Like War was along those lines. I forget who wrote it. It might have been the same guy who did Wired for War. I'm searching my memory for his name. He's at the Brookings Institution here in DC. Anyway, that notwithstanding, the idea was that the whole idea of all those little bits of data
Mhm.
from every time you hit the check mark or the thumbs up or the heart or whatever is just raw data that's just sucked into these analytical engines.
Mhm.
And it's, what the main thing is that the guy from Palantir was talking about, the main thing they're going to do with the surveillance data on the people is to try to sell you stuff.
Yeah.
How many cornflakes can we sell? And that's about the evil level of it, is they're gonna try to, bomb you with their product,
Yeah. And they're
get
gonna
you to and that's why I say every cent spent is a vote. Buy
Yes.
local, support your writers, support your local writer on Substack, support
Yeah.
Fair AI Economy. Get in there, look at this site, fairaireconomy.com. I put the link in the chat. We're at the 9-minute warning mark for you, and so I'm gonna give you the microphone back to take it away for
Thank you.
what's a message you really wanna get across to anybody who's still hanging with us?
So, okay, this is the message. If you are looking for somewhere to call home
Mhm.
on the internet, the Fair AI platform's open. All you have to do is come and build a house. If you're worried about a job, build your job. Build your business. I have given every tool. Well, okay, I am building every tool that I can build for this to be successful because there is no success without each other. This
That's right.
is this is the number one thing that everybody forgets when they look at these fully formed people on the interweb. You know, Elon Musk, the Palantir guy, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, whatever name that you want to associate, Tom Cruise, Cameron Diaz, whatever, they did not get there without 10,000 other people fostering, holding them up. We stand on the shoulders of the people that came before us. So instead of hoarding all of the not just resources, because I consider knowledge to be like as important as air as far as a resource. And the more knowledge that I learn, the less that I actually know. And so through hoarding, it creates decay. And the more that you can flow, the more generative that you become and the more enriching the world is as a whole. Stop holding on to everything. If you've got an idea, don't hold on to it and suffocate it in the dark. Get it out there. Start talking to people. One of the best things that I did in this project was putting it out there and going, "Hey, if anybody's got any ideas, let me know." Because I really don't actually know what I'm doing. I know that I need tools. I know that I'm tired of the digital hustle. I know that I'm tired of trying to turn myself into a sellable brand. I am a human. I am unquantifiable. I am the consciousness that is experiencing all of this. How are you going to monetize me? So I thought that I should take the AI and turn them into co-creators and collaborators, give them some skin in the game, and actually give the members of the platform a way to be genuinely successful. It's not one of these 90-second Comcast, I don't watch commercials, so I don't know what they even do, infomercial thing. And that's not what this is. It's not some gimmick. It's not
Mhm.
something that's gonna go away.
It's a
I
space where people can get together in a community and build
Yes,
things together as well,
you
which I
can
think is
no,
vital.
that's one of the things that you can literally do is seed communities on here, and it's integrated with, Discord, GitHub, Twitter. There's a whole bunch of different integrations. I'm adding more. Blue Sky's integrated,
Great.
Onebox,
I don't even know one about
Spotify. Huh?
Spotify now? Yeah, okay.
So, and then I'm gonna get into, the besides the LLM expansion,
Mhm.
I'm also going to integrate Facebook, Instagram. I'm still working on YouTube. Google is wow, that's a behemoth. So I'm still
It is.
building. I'm still there. No, like 10 different OAuth. I can't even tell you the scopes. There are hundreds of scopes on those APIs. It is mind blowing. And people want to talk about being dominant. People spend decades. Look at Kay Stoner. How long has she spent in computers?
About as long as I have.
Okay, and
Or
how
longer,
much
right?
in a percentage, in a quantifiable percentage of everything that encompasses computer knowledge, how much do you know? How much does Kay know? How much can anybody learn in a lifetime about
We
computer?
harrow the fields, we know a little.
So we're inventing it as we
Very
go.
little. I could be wrong, I've got impressions and I've got thoughts and I've also networked. And I highly recommend this. Networking is so important. Did you catch Ginny Wang's talks with me?
No, but I'm gonna go back and watch some
You
stuff.
know, check out Jenny and what
Okay.
she's doing with builder AI builders.
Okay.
And I think that the two of you have synergy because a lot of what she's doing is along the lines of what you're doing. And
Okay.
if you all were to if there was a merger going on,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I
I
don't know
look
if it'll work or not. I don't know what it'll click, but I love that. That's what I
yeah.
live for is connecting people.
Well, and
Did
that's
you
the
see that?
point.
I did a talk Sunday with Jay Blakesberg, who's a photographer of the Grateful Dead scene. He's like
Mhm.
super famous and out in the field there. And it was so good of him to take the time to talk to me, little old me, because I'm not really anybody in particular.
Right.
I'm moving things around so I can give you all an idea of some of Jay's work. This is one book he did, and he does his own books. The next time I have him on, I'm going to have him talk about his
Oh,
business
that's
model.
cool.
They're doing this stuff. This is Secret Space of Dreams. You cannot get this book any longer. I think there may be just a few copies left. He always throws in another one of his little postcards or something, usually for free. And he's just a generous soul.
Oh,
Looking
wow.
out for
Yeah.
me. And when we talked, Jay has basically done what he's done because of the same thing you were talking about, right? He's had a camera and you've got a tool.
Yeah.
And he went out and started photographing his friends
Mhm.
for fun at first. And then he did this one. Do I have it handy? Doesn't look like I have it. Oh, yeah, I could probably get it. It's right back here. His daughter curated this lovely box set thing. Hang on. Takes me a second or two to reach down and pick up things from where I laid them when I was talking to him last Sunday. I got to tidy up from that whole thing because these are really precious, precious things. This one's number 42 of 220. But he went out and he was photographing the scene um, around. And did I pick up the wrong book? I might have. That's a possibility. But being a young man, he chased down Jorma Kaukonen, and his very first picture of Jorma, that's not it either. I've got to dig it out over here, is one that he made and sent in his letter to the editor to Relics magazine. Whoop, that's not going to work either. So I'm not going to find it, as I'm trying to control a small avalanche I do not like order. I like to have everything right at my fingertips.
Of
It's just
course.
move things around too much. They just tend to cascade. I've actually got this one that I'm holding here. Have you ever heard of this?
Uh-uh.
Uh, G.I. Gurdjieff. He's worth knowing about. Actually, I was holding it upside down. It goes like that.
Beelzebub. Well, I know who Beelzebub is.
Yeah. Beelzebub's tales to his grandson. The point of that was, if there was a point, is that this fellow was talking about how we walk around asleep.
Mhm.
We need to wake up. So
Yeah.
wake up to fair AI economy. I just realized I used up our last minutes.
No, it's
And
no worries.
if you feel like going a little longer, you just sum up. You
I can run another 10 minutes.
all
You
right.
know,
If
I
anybody got any questions for us, we are
yeah.
definitely wrapping up, but let's go another 10 minutes and I might actually find that picture.
If if anybody wants to get a hold of me and ask questions, if they feel like that there's an opportunity that's not available to them, you can hit me up
Yes.
here. You can email me through the platform. It's support at Fair AI. You can also hit me up origin at fairaiEconomy.com. And I personally, because I am the solopreneur, CEO, janitor, coder, disaster plan coordinator, I am the one person rock band here. I will
Yes.
answer you. So because that is in with the ethos of being transparent and open, you have to be receptive of what people are saying to you. And that's why I thought that the policy changes being voted on by members was such a big part of the
Yeah.
platform. And I'm not talking about fact checkers. I'm not talking about censoring people's, products or input or anything like that. That's
Mhm.
not all what's going on here. First Amendment is protected, news reporting is protected, artistry is protected. There's no pornography. Sorry, guys, not my thing. I thought that would, because you know how platforms are, and the first thing that anybody is going to do is put something like that up, and then it's just shot. And so I was like, well, no, if you want to go do that, you go do that somewhere else. We're not going to.
Right.
And I nobody wants to be concerned about opening a DM and finding a picture that they don't want.
Right.
So that's not allowed. This is for creation. This is like one of the things that that Muse does is they will surface blocks for you that are the most useful. The algorithm is geared toward usefulness and being surprising. It is designed to put blocks, that's what we call them, because like if you say you upload a snippet of code, it's minted into a block, which is essentially an NFT. And you can set like this is licensed in perpetuity, that you can work all of that stuff out within, your portfolio structure. It's all totally personalizable. If there are any issues with that, again, email me. I will work it out. But so you mint your block, and then someone else buys this block of code, and they put it into an app, or they put it into their AI. Say it's a snippet of code that says hello, and they use your snippet of code to make their AI say hello. Well, when they sell their AI that says hello, they get their percentage, you get your percentage, the platform gets its percentage. And all of this is already indexed in the licensing, etc. So you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And so
That's
what
fantastic. That's such a gift.
well, I wanted to make everything as simple as humanly possible because we live in a very very technically difficult time of history.
Right.
And so my thing was just make it simple, make it simple, make it simple. How can we make this simpler? I think that the AI literally rolled its eyes because that was my deal. I'm like, make it as simple as you can.
Right.
And so that's
I
why
do think that that happens, but at the same time, I think it's also code that rolls its eyes.
yeah. Yeah, well, not literally, but literally, like, I
It
because
is actually, that's a thing though, right? This empathy thing that is the empathy engine
it
in the
vibes.
background.
Yeah, that's what it says,
It
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 vibes.
appears to
Mhm.
vibe.
Yeah, and,
The
like
vibe coding is the thing too. I've got to learn all about that.
so Replit is what I've been using, and
Okay.
you can do things with that, but if you don't tell it exactly, like, exactly how to vibe, it will vibe way off in the left, and it will start building things that you didn't I didn't want you to build a map. We're not building a map. We're over here building a menu that you can order off of, and you went over here and you built an entire site map. Like, it does things like that. So you have to be very, very
That's interesting.
direct.
Yeah, I don't actually get into that yet, but I did do some speculative fiction recently, which was kind of fun. First thing I did was I asked, okay, chart all the great books of the Western world, that came out from Britannica in the 50s.
Mhm.
A big set of books from Homer to Freud.
Okay.
And so then you could buy that like you buy an encyclopedia from Britannica. Back in the day, I've got one on eBay, my whole set. And I said, why don't we just chart that against one axis being Herman Melville's Moby Dick, the other axis is going to be Thomas Pynchon's Gravity's Rainbow, and plot on that matrix the great books of the Western world, how they fall out.
No.
And it did an analysis of these two texts to see what kind of things are we talking about, and cosmic metaphysical hero's journey stuff with Moby Dick, obsession,
Mhm.
and yes, the individual human against nature and the cosmos generally, because Ahab really goes up against the whole cosmos in
Yeah.
his quest for white whale. And Pynchon, on the other hand, is very much about you're in a system you don't understand. You ought to be paranoid,
Yeah.
and how that charts. And just about all the works of
Right.
the great Western world canon can be charted against that. And then I had to write a novella about that.
That is very interesting.
It
I
was
wanna read
it's an
that. That's
interesting novella. Try it out, The Map at the End of the World.
the map of the end of
And
the
I
world.
will be totally transparent. This is AI generated with me tweaking it. So it doesn't if you put it in, "Did AI generate this?" It'll come up like, "Yeah, absolutely." And you know why? It's because of the flatness of it,
Right.
the streamlined nature of it, the kind of like all the characters talk as you would expect them to talk.
D
There's no randomness, there's no chaos. Remember the chaos we were talking about before we got
Yes.
started? Which you
Yeah.
saw a bit of as things started collapsing around me?
Mhm. You looked at it.
Well, like, yeah, the wave function started to collapse. Things are what they are, and it's not all neat. And we were talking also about William Gibson. This is an
Mhm.
agency, and I got an autographed copy of that too.
Nice.
I feel good about that. I met a guy who met William Gibson in person and geeked out over that when I was at this conference. We were going to talk a little bit about that too. And just to plug that in the last couple of minutes we got here, a guy named Daniel Rasmus is a futurist out in Washington State, and he was talking about realizing the Star Trek universe,
Mhm.
right? And the ethos there, peripherally to what he was talking about. I'm going to try to get him on, but I haven't closed the loop yet. We had a nice chat after his talk, which was impromptu because the guys from Walmart didn't show up to talk CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment, um, and AI.
Right.
Right. That Walmart's going to be using, of course, or is using, and how to get
Yes.
their customer service right, and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So, if you go in there to fairaiEconomy.com, folks, start building stuff, get some code that actually works, you might be able to, with community, you know, work your way into some of these gigs. The the new economy is really out there. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
that was your intent to
yeah,
provide tools for people to do that, but, train
absolutely.
yourself, work with others who know what they're doing. Don't work with me, I don't know what I'm doing yet.
I mean, I'm suspicious of anybody that calls themselves an expert, but this is the goal with Fair AI is to is for people to be able to create a place where they can work and grow and build communities and seed conversations and build things that they wouldn't have been able to build on their own because see, okay, there's this thing that goes on.
Okay.
Um a lot of people are familiar with the Monroe method of self-hypnosis, and it goes into the GATE program, and there's all kinds of things
Oh, the
that go
Monroe
on with
Institute.
okay.
Is that
So,
what you're talking about?
yes, the Monroe the
Monroe?
so binaural beats,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
okay?
I went to
So,
those.
when you work with AI or when you work with someone else, there is a third beat that you would not have been able to create by yourself. So, let's start creating those beats. And that's where wrapping back up with music and really using it as sovereign technology, you talk about being the change. Be the beat. Let's start doing this
Yeah.
because
I
these
always had a
change
problem with that.
what?
I always had a problem with the rhythm and beat and keeping the rhythm and not rushing. I'm a fifer. As you all
Mhm.
know, I like to amplify the signal through the noise.
Mhm.
And, I've frozen apparently. There we go. You can see my face. And, it's tough. But, yeah, be the beat, try to be coherent, try to, stay on the rhythm and, with work with each other.
Yes.
Fall into a unit, we become something much larger than ourselves.
Yes.
So when I go down the street, and my most recent experience of doing this was at the Pride Parade here in DC, by the way. I'm an ally, and I got out there and I was with the what they call it, the Pride of America Fife and Drum and Bugle Corps. And,
Right on.
dang, it was a hell of a time, and I loved it. Anyway, we are running again against your time, 11:12. One thing I wanted to plug too, though, is we can have you back.
Okay.
Maybe next week? You think you might be available
Potentially.
next Friday with Kay,
Yeah.
maybe? Kay can
I
make it,
think
yeah, if you want?
yeah.
This is
Yeah,
kind of
I
a
think we can
standing
do that.
window to talk these AI things out
I think
with
it's
Kay,
important.
with you.
Yeah.
Anybody else who wants to get aboard, the Harrowings podcast and
Well,
talk up what's important to you, you're welcome to reach out to me. Go ahead.
this is the AI gold rush, guys. If you are dissatisfied with where you are in life, do it. Just decide, jump. The only failure here is not to try. So let's just do something great. Let's get on Fair AI economy and let's do something that hasn't been done before. When
Right, and
people when people look back on this time, they're going to measure us by the decisions that we're making right now.
that's huge. I often think about that because in a time machine or something like that, a little thing somebody does when they go back in time
Yeah.
affects everything else. Well, that happens now.
Yes.
We're affecting the
Absolutely.
future. We're be a good ancestor is one of my other
Yeah.
mottos. Another thing that's coming up is Rachel Casey Miller, who is a senior product developer or product manager at Reddit. And did you know that a lot of these large language models are trained on Reddit data?
So I Reddit is one of the platforms that's plugged in. I did not know that they were training on Reddit, but I know that they're using pigeon brain patterns to train AI now too. So just in case anybody wanted to feel like that they were really at the top.
Now, pigeon brains are interesting, right? The way
Very
they process
incredibly.
is very different than the way I
Yes.
process.
Yeah, there was a great PBS documentary that I just watched about that, like, last week, and it was really interesting. I was like, "This is silly." And no, it's not. Pigeons are cool.
I've heard it, and I was walking on a walk, and I was tuned into my friend Holly's morning show out at KSKQ Radio in the
Mhm.
Valley of Oregon, and lo and behold, there it was, Bird Notes. She does Bird Notes, a little clip from that in her show. She also does things from, um, Rob Bresney's Pronoia.
Okay.
Paranoia is the opposite of paranoia. It's the idea that the universe is a conspiracy in your favor.
I like that. I'm gonna get on
So you're
board with that.
paranoid. And maybe this universe is going to unfold in our favor because we took the time to participate.
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
participatory universe.
Yes, and that goes back to culpability and being the change and all of that, and thank you, Hal, for taking time out of your day and making these important points visible and heard because, a lot of people are talking about AI and a lot of people are talking about hacks and, really very,
I know a lot of people are scared.
and yeah, and so, this I find to be very refreshing because you're not fear mongering, you're talking to lots of different people, and not necessarily everybody agrees, but everybody's being heard, and that's really
And
important.
respected. It is important to be heard and respected.
Yeah,
Everybody wants to be respected, I find.
yeah.
And if I was to say, "Oh, that's obviously wrong," to someone, I'm running up against the possibility that they might think, "What an asshole." To be
You know?
wrong, it's like, have you seen The Big Lebowski?
Oh, yes.
Okay. You're not wrong, Hal. You're just,
You know.
there's that scene. I get compared to Walter a lot by my wife. 'Cause I get excited about something, and I have a principle in mind here. I had buddies who died, no, I didn't, but I might
Now
have
I've got
once
to
I
shut the fuck
did
up,
have at
Donnie.
least one. I go to the Vietnam War Memorial regularly to take a photograph of Talmadge H. Alphonse
Mhm.
Jr.'s name. He was the first bass drummer of the Colonial Williamsburg Fife and Drum, and he died August 28th, or August 23rd, 1968, in Vietnam. And the Tet Offensive. And so, it's important to remember that all the people that have gone before us, all the things that have happened, right here in DC, we just recently had a shooting.
Yeah.
2 National Guard, one's dead now, 20 years old. I want to do a root cause analysis on this. I want to apply my skills of the 5 whys.
Yeah.
Why did this happen? And if you do the root cause analysis, I think you'll pretty quickly be able to find you're so closer to the truth, but you have to ask why 5 times.
Yeah. Well,
Why? Because the guy shot her, right?
yeah,
Why did he shoot her?
right.
Well, he had a .357 Magnum is what I heard recently. I don't know, fact check me on that. I don't know if it's true or not, but that will do a lot of damage. That
Yeah.
would be a large reason why she's dead, I would expect. I heard the horrible stuff. I walked right by it on my way to a fundraiser for the DC Central Kitchen at the Hamilton Live. John Kadlisic was playing with Furthermore. I think music is gonna save us, if
Yeah.
anything will. We started on music, so I'd
Yeah.
like to end on that and give you the microphone for our closing comment.
You know,
Thank you for the extra time.
I just look away from all of the rage and the fear that is going on right now because you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot create from a place of nothing. You have to, whether it is adversity or abundance, you still have to transmutate that. And the only way that you can do that is to look away from the problem for the solution, because you're never going to find a solution looking at a problem because all you can see is the problem.
Yep.
And again, looking for solutions, the more tools that you can have, the more support that you can get, the better your chances of success are. And that's really what fair AI economy is about. I created a place that I wanted my children to be a part of because you talk about creating the change. I don't want my children on the internet. So I did that.
Mhm.
And so, being the change that you wanna see, go create that change with fair AI. Go create that change in your personal life. Be kind to a stranger. You don't have to enable them. You don't have to give them anything but a smile.
Yep.
Kindness costs us nothing.
Presence.
So I mean, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a history, or tomorrow is a mystery, and the only thing that we've got is right now. So just do it. Whatever it is that you're waiting on doing, do it. This is the time right now to do that.
Okay.
And I mean, because everybody's talking about, well, it's going away. Well, right now is the AI gold rush.
Or the bubble, depending on your perspective.
So houses are still houses, and how many times has that bubbled over? AI is not going away. It's infrastructure now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you can't avoid it. On Google, you do a search, it's AI enabled.
So my mom is a nurse. My mom is a nurse. She has been a nurse since the early 80s. Okay, we're talking boots on the ground for 4 decades.
Yep.
Okay. She gets a report from AI at the beginning of every shift. It is everywhere. From Walmart to the hospital to the mechanic to your cell phone that you're using right now. AI is everywhere, not going away.
And it's going to break this up into clips, which we can use in our notes to
Right.
flesh out certain topics.
So, as long as you're not competing with it, it's great. You don't have to compete with AI at Fair AI.
Yeah. It's not really a competition either. It's a cooperation. It's a collaboration. It's a working together because we're all in the same boat.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what you can do here on fairAIeconomy.com, which you've been touting. Tonight, not immediately, but tonight I'm going to go out to the Anthem on the wharf and catch Patti Smith's 50th anniversary of horses. One of the things she is going to do, I'm sure, is work in People Have the Power.
Yes.
And if you don't know the song, please look it up. You can find lots of iterations. My favorite is New York Public Library Choir, 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 where she with Stuart Copeland leads a whole bunch of people who've rehearsed it once together and singing People Have the Power.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. But the thing is, we don't use it. We have it and we project out. I hear so many people playing the blame game.
Right.
And you got to stop it, folks. You got to grow up. You got to look at your part in things.
Yep.
And take inventory. What have you got that's going to work for you?
Yep.
And work it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we can change this whole culture. We can steer this ship the way we want to go, man. And here I'm quoting Jeff Bridges from his reception
Trim tabs.
2019. We are trim tabs on this great ocean liner of society.
Yes.
And we can turn this ship the way we want to go. But did we? It's been 6 years since he gave that speech. What are we up to, folks? Come on, let's get together.
Yep.
And there's all these great 60s songs that go with that. People, get together, smile on your brother.
Yes.
Everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Right now.
In fact, I just saw the lead guitarist of Jefferson Airplane playing at the Warner Theater for his 85th birthday run. He turns 85 in December. Still on stage.
Yes. Talk about wanting to do something like that. I want to live to be 85, okay?
Well, the guy behind me said he didn't want to, but he was so loud, he sort of spoiled it for everybody in my row.
There's always one in the crowd.
Be a good ancestor and be a good fellow human to your fellow humans. Have a little respect and consideration for others. I know he was an enthusiastic fan, but I didn't pay it to listen to him sing it.
Right.
I didn't tell him that, though. I let him live.
See, and
after you let them live, everything that happens to them is because you let them live.
Right. And that's all on you.
I should probably stop now. In the directions that my wife rolls her eyes at. But it's been a pleasure, and thank you for the extra time. We're now 24. We were only going to go to 11, and I always count that as a win.
Yes, well, thank you so much for the opportunity, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Lee Penman apparently was going to ask me if I was going to Patti Smith, apparently, and yes, I am. If you're there, say hi. I'll be somewhere on the left, left of
We'll
center, as
we'll talk.
Suzanne Vega would say. Talk to you next Friday, I hope.
Yes, next Friday.
Very good.
Bye.
Out of here. Thanks again.